A while back, I made a post about the massacres that went down across the country. Now, there were more than what's being presented, but I just wanted to touch on that real quick. A little quick 15-second video. But now I'm going to dig a little deeper for those who are not black that got something to say. The ones that are quick to say, pull yourself by your bootstraps, stop complaining, this, that, and the third, as if black folk in this country were not trying to get their own. Me, myself, what's crazy is I'm not from this country, but I'm willing to learn. Like you gonna learn right now. So let me ask y'all this. What if your people got dragged here? After a few years, they got, boom, go from indentured servitude to you guys are slaves, right? Bam. You ain't got no rights. You ain't got no say-so. We get to treat you like cattle, all right? Now, since then, let's say that they even made laws. I mean, shoot, even in the Constitution, black folk were considered 3/5 human, right? Granted, that was for voting purposes, plus to explain why slavery needed to be included. But yeah. Now, what if the country decided to utilize propaganda via media used to kill how black folks are viewed? Give us teachers who are not qualified and the books that are outdated in schools. Our history distorted, right? Years of slavery and the oppression that followed make it hard for business to grow in those areas, black areas. So we can't hire our own. Snatch up the best of our kind, which is what they did after segregation. Snatch up the best of our kind, the guys who got 4.0 GPAs and stuff like that, to work for their companies. Put highways through the middle of the municipalities, the black municipalities, to cut off the outside commerce. That's what happened with Good Bread Alley in Overtown here in Miami, as an example, when they ran I-95 through it, right? Make it hard for those of us who are simply average to get a decent career without a degree, because they took out a lot of unions and shop classes and auto shop classes where you could be certified fresh out of high school, right? Take those out. That way the average person has a hard time getting a job, so they got to go to union schools and go through hell with those hiring practices, right? Part 2 coming next. Part 2. Now, you got to go through hell with some of these trade schools or what have you, right? Because even some of them, they have supervisors that will look down on you, talk crazy to you. All right, cool, right? Bam. Now, take the entertainment industry and skew it, right? And make us fit into certain roles or be viewed into certain roles that our ancestors probably wouldn't agree with. That our ancestors would be like, hold on, you know we're much more than just rappers and ball players and stuff like that, right? You know we're much more than detectives on TV. You know that, right? We were, I'm not going to sit up there and be like, oh, we were kings or anything like that. Granted, that is true, but we were also doctors. We were also engineers. We were also creative people. You know, we were also innovators of civilization. We also created handwriting. We also created mathematics, if you look deeply. But that's a whole other story, right? And lastly, divide us by skin tone, split us up by organizations, displace us by religion, and yet we're supposed to keep hope alive. All this division, all this slicing up, all this toward a group of people, right? Then, after the civil rights movement, you have guns, drugs, welfare system being thrown upon black folk, black women told the man can't be in the house, so you can't get no benefits, this, that, the third. And then you have the uplifting of women, which is cool, Women can work, women can go to school, and I ain't mad at that. But to sit up there and try to make it look like men are dumb in the media, that men are dumb, men are in prison, especially black men, and other things, while elevating the woman, making it seem like, oh, you got your stuff together, you don't need him, you don't need him, you don't need him. You have division between men and women, plus, other organizations. I belong to, if I'm Christian and you Muslim, then we got conflict. You know what I mean? Just back and forth conflict. And then the gangs and the drugs and stuff like that, due to hopelessness, brothers doing whatever they can to try to get money. What if all of that I just described, that I just said, was enacted in your neighborhood within the country, that you're treated like trashing? Part 3 coming up. Last part. Now, you make it nice and hopeless for these people, right? You put dope, guns in the community because black folk in this country are not the ones bringing it in from foreign sources, especially the guns and the dope, because they see that as pretty much the only way that they can get out, right? Brothers is trying to get in the rap game, and that's competition right there. And then you have all the foolishness that just continues to go on and on, right? Now, granted, I'm not saying it's an excuse to go out there and wild out. Try to keep your head up and push forward to the best of your ability. It's tough, but you got to push forward to the best of your ability, right? But when you see brothers falling to the wayside, you got to understand, how did we get here? And then during Reconstruction period, let me go way back even further. During Reconstruction, could you tell me what happened to the Freedmen's Bank, the 40 acres and a mule black folk was supposed to get? Why did the government take money from the Freedmen's Bank? Money that black folk pulled their cash together in order for them to rebuild after the Civil War. See what I'm saying? Black folk for years have been, in this country, have been trying to pull themselves by their bootstraps. But the minute that they were able to get a pair of boots, white man took those boots and burnt them. Or white man took those boots and hung them by a tree. Strange fruit. Right? Every time they get a pair of boots, shoestrings all of a sudden get cut. You know what I mean? So yeah, before you can open your mouth and say black folk are just lazy, this, that, and the third, even to this day, crime bills and they act like they don't want to give these people reparations in this country that they're owed from way back. You know what I'm saying? You see the BS going on. A lot of y'all that ain't black, that got something to say, y'all see all the BS going on. If we ask you a question, would you want to be black? Would you want to trade places? The race that you are, become black, want to live black for the rest of your life, would you want to do that? A lot of y'all would get quiet and be like, I don't know. Maybe they aren't lying. Because look, just because your life is in shambles don't mean you got to pick on somebody else in order to make yourself feel better, all right? To my FBA brothers, y'all keep plugging forward, all right? Y'all stay blessed. Respect. And one more thing before I cancel out this little quick series, right? Just because somebody is black, even with a degree and all their credentials, just because they have a quote-unquote black-sounding name, they have a harder time being hired. So yeah, it's trying to pull ourselves by our bootstraps, so to say, but still blocked off because you have a quote-unquote black name. Now, before you open your mouth and even say something stupid like, why are you calling yourself DeAndre, Triandra, Sharkeisha? It shouldn't even matter. If Sharkeisha is qualified and has the job experience, then damn it, give Sharkeisha a chance. Because if we could sit up there and force to say the name Arnold Schwarzenegger, Schwarzkopf, Balishnikov, or whatever long European name, if we have to be forced to say that, then y'all should be able to say Giante, Tavante, and those type of names. What's in a name is the integrity that that person puts on their name. The respect that they put on their name through hard work and dedication, i.e. pulling themselves by the bootstraps. But once again, just because they have that name, you have a harder time being hired. You go to start a business, they make the interest rates and stuff like that higher for you to get a loan or whatever. You try to get a nice home, just cause you black, oh, we gonna raise the rates on you in some capacity. I.e. keeping up the practice of redlining in a roundabout way. Prison system is still the slave system through the 13th Amendment in a roundabout way. So it's like it's a continuation of a lot of things in order to keep us down, but yet still we push forward. And it's the media that loves saying that black folks ain't this and black folks ain't that. Yet we push forward. You show the ones who have given up or the ones who have mental issues, promote them in the media as if they represent the entire America. That little 5 to 10% of what represents blacks, that's what y'all promote as if that's black people, as if that's black culture, period. And then those of us who are foreigners, when we get called black, well, I don't want to be called black, because you have the idea that you're being associated with the lower end of black America. So now you have a problem with that. You see, it's division and all that because of the system. Now, before you go to open your mouth, those of y'all who ain't black, after looking at this series, what would you do?